Hi, good afternoon, everybody. And firstly, thank you to AI Tech North for the ability to be part of this fantastic event. I'd like to spare a few moments to actually start to look at AI, demystify this umbrella term, and really kind of dive into some use cases to kind of look at where this is being implemented into industry and actually changing the way we actually live and work. So I'd like to move on to a slide which some of you may be actually quite familiar with. We all know artificial intelligence has been around for a very, very long time, but the iteration of how that's developed over that time has been more and more important for us in the world that we live in today. So, what's the difference, or what's the current breakthroughs in AI, and what's the difference between machine learning and deep learning? So, as discussed earlier, AI is the umbrella term. Machine learning is a technique which pretty much helps a task learn and improve from, let's say, a programmable task. Now, deep learning is slightly different to that. Deep learning is similar to the human brain, it mimics the human brain. So it can learn without any form of supervision. Now, over the last 10 plus years, there's been exponential growth, not only in data, but also compute. Which has brought about a vast improvement and increase in the use of this term AI. So, what does that actually mean now? So we're actually in uncertain times right now. We're in an area where the industry actually needs to focus more now on speed, efficiency, and competitive edge, and the market is even more in need for companies to actually innovate and automate. So again, usages of AI, which can really kind of help move efficiencies along in various use cases, start to become even more apparent. And what I'd like to do from the next slide is start to look at exact industries, use cases, and applications in real life. So I've selected a few of the industries here, and started to look at some of the common ones, the ones which you'd potentially hear about in the media, some which you may have read about, but also a lot of the hype that comes with that. What I would suggest is a lot of the media portrayal, 70% again, potentially could be hype, but the 30% that are actually applying AI, deep learning, machine learning into industry are actually changing the world. So you can see some applications there from the medical side, applications into public sector and defense, straight through to resources and services, again, which are more apparent now. So whether that be predictive maintenance, anomaly detection, straight through to current telco applications in 5G. So we hear a lot about AI, but what does that exactly mean to us? What's the tangible benefit? So I'd like to kind of refer to one of the slides, which is quite apparent and will clearly identify current benefits in the market. Not only does it help decision making, speed, efficiency, cost, but also productivity, which again, in current day and environment is absolutely essential. But to kind of put more context on this, I'd like to delve a little bit further and make this a little bit more real and start looking at use cases and industry-based applications of where AI has actually been implemented, what that means, what the benefits are, and what we've exactly learned. So, one of the companies which we all are quite familiar with is in drinks and beverage, and so Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola work very closely with their data science teams worldwide, and they engage and populate data from vending machines. So they position these vending machines in different locations, from shopping malls straight through to gyms, straight through to different environments across various sectors and regions. Now, by doing that, what they've done is they've been able to kind of start understanding exactly where consumer behavior is, to be able to draw insight from data, but then to be able to use that information and data to kind of focus on new product services, new design, marketing techniques, social media engagement, and be able to kind of position correctly within the market. And from there, they obviously are able to kind of position correctly. Now, there's applications across the board in various sectors, one of which we hear so much about, and I'd like to delve into a little bit further. Now, that's in the medical sector. So there is applications in medicine, whether it be precision medicine, genomics, medical imaging, straight through to another technique in hospital environments called federated learning. So what I've done is I've been able to kind of start looking at one aspect of that application with cancer, and how AI, or more specifically deep learning, is actually aiding clinicians at the edge in hospital environments and being able to kind of assist patient workflow and care. So deep learning techniques based upon historical data sets and being able to kind of segment images enables clinicians to make better clinical decisions and aid patients by seeing information from different sizes, different angles, different data techniques, and really kind of aid decision making. You could actually say AI is, let's say, assisted decision making for clinicians in hospitals environments. There are applications in other sectors, again, which we are fully aware of as well. Automotive, heavily used applications of AI, whether it through IoT assembly lines, CFD, straight through to trackside analytics. So decision making at the trackside being made available to engineers so they can effectively position, competitive races. So there's various applications within industry sectors which become more and more apparent, and the use cases start to become endless. Now, there's a lot of talk about startup environments as well. And that innovation brought through entrepreneurs actually is quite refreshing in industry. Again, public domain information, and some of the companies in UK and Europe which are working in this space are using AI in various applications. So we can see here from the screen, electric flying jets, something you would normally see 5, 10+ years back in, let's say, something you would read about or see in movies. But these applications are real life, and they are being implemented in today's day and age through the use of compute, but also data, and applying these use cases in various fields, which is making this real and possible. And this is actually heavily backed by the government. So, there's a few snippets here where the government is making funding available. There's large funding pots through UKIR and various other kind of applications where universities, colleges, institutions have access to not only funding for real life use cases in medical imaging, radiology, pathology, applications into hospital-based environments, but also to kind of help train and upskill university students straight through to individuals in the workplace. What is apparent from these applications of AI are there is a lot of challenges. There's a lot of barriers to entry, and some of which I'd like to kind of cover off here, some of which I'm open to questions about at the end of the session. But there is an apparent need to kind of really kind of understand the value that AI can actually bring to your organization and improve it. It is seen as a risk. There could be cost implications here. There need to be clear benefit on returns, but also security is a key aspect, as we know in today's day and age. And that could not necessarily just be in a hospital-based environment where data is held in privacy-preserving environments on NHS firewalls, but also in various sites and locations, whether it be the water industry straight through to commercial tier one. The key aspect here, as I've mentioned a few times, is data. Data is the fuel, the oil, so to speak. It has to be reliable, it has to be complete, and results reflect accordingly. So it comes hand in hand with making sure that data is curated, clean, cleansed, and used in the right manner and process. And also, a part of this session, there may be a bit more information now on, the ethics side, how regulation will catch up, how the legal aspects will impact elements of AI. But these factors now start to become apparent, and they will catch up. The interesting aspect here on the screen is the ethics piece. There is so many real life applications which can be quizzed for and against. And again, as industry moves and the market moves, this will become more apparent. Now, what also is very, very key is a skill set. So there are skills available in the market. AI traditionally right now in its current day and market is not a commoditized product. It's not a plug and play technology. It's being able to pull together compute, storage, software straight through to real life skills as well as applications within the cloud together. There is a real need for data scientists and data science skills, but there's also skills within Python and various other applications. There's also newer computing and programming language like Julia Computing, which are accelerating this development, as well as with various startup environments and new players in the market, which are actually assisting and bringing this forward for real world and good. But again, there is a need to kind of upskill our own staff, but also make sure that we learn the new techniques. Now, along with that, you could, start to kind of suggest, okay, is AI good? Is AI bad? What we do know is that it can really help benefit and aid society. It can overcome and really help solve big, big challenges which we have in our world today. They can be seen as, benefits, threats. There's, a lot of thought and conversation on, even more job reduction. What I would say to that is there would be automation of repetitive tasks, but as humans, we're creative, and new apparent industries and usages within AI would help formulate addition of new jobs based upon that. Now, the AI revolution is classed as the fourth industrial revolution. We're actually just at the actual start or the brink of this. So we're actually in a quite an exciting time in terms of technology. I'm fully aware and appreciate that current circumstances not great, but again, from a business perspective, to be able to kind of work in technology and start to move speed, efficiency, and automation, as discussed earlier, AI could be seen as a key driver and tool to kind of aid that. So, what does this mean in industry? How can we actually apply it? How can we actually learn about it? And what's been done in current day? So, I'd like to divert your attention to some of the work that we've done at Atos. We work very closely with education academia. We've deployed the largest AI supercomputer in the UK, which is led by the University of Oxford. I'm currently engaging with the Alan Turing Institute and 22 universities to start looking at how do we best utilize this tool across UK, formulating user groups on common practice. So, for example, I was working with a number of universities across the UK who were forefronting research and education within, let's say, oceanography. Now, that's something quite niche and specialist, but if we're able to kind of formulate user groups where we can cross-collaborate, share resource information, and be able to kind of help and aid learning across multiple sites, that can really help push research and innovation forward. So what we're looking to do is move from traditional forms of research to research with AI to accelerate learning, adaptation, and obviously involvement of industry. Now, with that, the next question is, well, okay, well, what can we do now? Are there courses available? And, if you do go online, there are courses available. There's access to various forums as well. And, there's two key aspects which I would say here. There is a need to engage with C-level or decision makers at a business, a business or a more of a strategic level to demystify what is exactly AI. How will AI be actually implemented into industry? Can that implementation add value? And how is it tangible in terms of a business benefit? Now, along with that, from a technical stance, there already is deep learning or AI-based training, which is available from various facets and various industry sectors, some of which we'll see in the next slide. But this engagement is actively available. Companies, institutions from tier one straight through to various applications in industry are actually applying, learning, and using this in real life. And this is what I'd like to also share with you. So, there can be workshops which are held, whether it's one-to-one, whether it's group-based sessions. There's industry-focused education, whether it be anomaly detection, preventative maintenance in industrial resources and services. There could be healthcare applications. And again, these courses range from the fundamentals of AI straight into specialist skills all of which are readily available with, again, competency to the individual. So, really to kind of summarize this, and I'm open to questions at the end, is starting to look at one of the key aspects is how do we engage with an institution? How do we start looking at how my company or how individuals can start learning? What we've done at Atos is we have been fortunate to work with industry to formulate center of excellences, whether it be in health, life sciences, climate. We work with various areas of compute, whether it be AI, high performance computing, quantum. But we also work with government-based organizations, so STFC and the Hartree Center, to allow those services readily available. We work very closely with universities and academia to offer business and academic courses to not only industry, but also students. And we also host a one-to-one and group sessions. So if there is interest going forward, again, feel free to reach out. But I'd like to just take the opportunity to thank AI Tech North Sharing and the wider team. You're doing an absolutely fantastic job here, and thank you for the opportunity to be involved as part of your event.